back to another episode of the Casual Crossover Podcast. We are your hosts, Mike, Alex, and Clark. So today we're going to be talking about the Denver Nuggets. Their season is over. They've got swept by the Phoenix Suns, 4-0. Clark, do you want to begin?
Yeah, so obviously no Murray, right? Huge blow. I picked them to actually get eliminated in the first round, but surprisingly they beat Portland. I don't know if it showed like how good Denver is or how bad Portland is, right? Because you beat Portland, you come in and you get swept by the Suns with essentially the same team. I don't know. It's kind of yeah. What do you
Wait,
guys think?
what do you mean by the same team?
Okay, so you're playing without Murray, right? You
Mm-hmm.
beat Portland, but then you get swept by the Suns. So did Denver just play really well in the first round, or does it show like Portland is way behind on everybody else?
I think Portland just has
Phoenix.
terrible.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I just think Portland has terrible defense, right? And
Yeah.
they don't really have a plan to like guard Jokic, right? That's one thing. And then the
Yeah,
second thing, the second thing is there was at least one game where it was the Austin Rivers magical game, right? And that really put them over the top, right? That was one game that they needed from him, and he gave it to them, right? And I guess his magic ran out against the Suns, so yeah.
Mike, what about you?
Well, I agree with the no defense. So Portland, the defense is horrible. They can't defend. I mean, I feel like I agree somewhat with what you said about Denver. I think everybody played better than they expected. I mean, Aaron Gordon had a much better series against Portland. Um, Austin River had his moments. Um, Jokic, I feel like he was the same. I mean, nobody could guard him. I mean, Aiden was much better, of course, for the Suns. But Jokic was still dominating. Um, Offensively, both like Suns and Blazers have similar firepower, but Phoenix have a better overall offense.
You mean defense?
Like no, like offensively, like offensively, Blazer, you have Dame, you have CJ, you have Carmelo. Suns have like just all around, like everybody can contribute. Like Denver couldn't really zoom in on specific players. And yeah, I feel like the all their shortcoming shows up against the Suns. Right? You can, like, Jokic can carry you for majority, but then you don't have Aaron Gordon having his game. You don't Michael Porter Jr. doesn't contribute enough. Then that's where those point differences are, right? I mean, like, well, I don't remember what's the average point differential is. But they're missing Jamal Murray for sure this series. No way did they play poorly, but they just don't have another person, another like all-star player to support Jokic. You know, what if, right? If Jamal Murray's there, I'm sure this series will be much closer. But at the end of the day, Suns is just riding a high momentum. You know, Momentum is it's like a very interesting thing, right? When you beat the Lakers, and your team is like hitting in all cylinder, it's just hard to stop. And then you have Chris Paul just balling out the last game, like vintage Chris Paul. And the thing is, Devin Booker doesn't even have to go, Super Saiyan. He just need to do his like 25 points. Um, you know, Chris Paul was the key for sure. right? And DeAndre Ayton didn't have to be like, didn't have such as a good series as the first against Blazers, but he did just enough. And then Crowder, um, Miguel Bridges, everybody contributing. So that's part of the end result of the series.
So okay, so I want to go back to Michael Porter Jr. So we had a wager, right? When we did predictions.
Yeah.
I said Phoenix in 5, and you
Yeah.
guys, Alex? What was your pick?
Denver in 6.
Denver 6.
I think I said, did I say Phoenix in 7?
You said Phoenix in 7. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, like offensively, like we saw Phoenix had what their starters had. They were in double figures for every game. Is that true for Game 4 as well? I remember going into it, they averaged
something like that, something crazy like that.
Yeah, double digit scoring for their whole starters. Sorry, Michael Porter Jr. We had a wager that he would have or have not 3 30-point games, and boy did he come up short. Like, this guy just disappeared. I know he tweaked his back, right? But you know what was very frustrating when we watched Game 4 is they just picked on him defensively.
He can't move.
They were just switching. They were trying to hunt for him and get him on that switch.
Yeah.
He get exposed. And I don't know if you guys remember, but do you remember? I think it was early last year. Mike Malone said if he doesn't play defense, he won't be out on the floor.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this time he said, you know what? I don't have a choice. Like I have no bodies. So does he imply that if he had a healthy team, Michael Porter Jr. wouldn't be playing because of his lack of defense?
I'd say half and half. Like obviously he talked to Michael Porter Jr. about playing defense, right? But then also the thing is, I think he understands the fact that he can't move. Like Michael Porter Jr. like after tweaking his back, especially in Game 2, once he tweaked his back, he couldn't even like straighten out his back. Like he couldn't even bend over. That's the thing. He couldn't bend over. Like that's pretty bad. You know what I mean? So and I think
it's injury. You're saying it's injury?
It's partly injury. Like he couldn't even if he wanted to.
Like, yeah, I think what Alex is trying to say is like he's not a good defender to start with. So once he had injury, it just pretty much disabled him from even try to play defense. Oh, sorry. Just quick note. Crowder have 9 points. So, but everybody else had double digit. So
so it's just that one game with Crowder. Okay.
Yeah, of course it's Jay Crowder.
I mean, let's looking at. You know what? I feel like it's unfortunate. Like I think Jamal Murray would have helped them for sure this series.
I think help is an understatement.
That's
but I mean, the thing is, I feel like with the way that Phoenix was going into that series, I don't know if having Jamal Murray would have stopped Phoenix from winning the series. Like I would feel like Phoenix would still take it, maybe just in 6 or 7.
I think there's 2 key factors. Yeah. Jamal Murray and also losing Will Barton in Game 1 and Game 2. If you guys looked at what he did in Game 4,
he almost won.
He almost won the game for them. He almost pulled a comeback for them, right? So imagine having him in Game 1 and Game 2, but they didn't have him. And even when he came back for Game 3, he was not Will Barton.
He was out of sync.
Yeah.
He was inefficient.
Oh, I just saw the box score. Hey, they actually they actually did what I said, right? They tweaked the starting lineup and put Monte Morris and Will Barton on the starting lineup.
Yeah, because you can't have Austin Rivers and Campazzo.
Right.
That cannot be a starting backcourt.
All right, so hold on. I have something I want to ask you guys. I know it's like a really popular topic, but what did you guys think about that flagrant 2?
Soft as hell.
Right?
That was whack.
I messaged you guys. You guys right away. Like honestly, when they went to review, I'm like, hey, I think this is just a hard foul, like a normal personal foul.
Yeah.
I don't even think it was flagrant one
Yeah.
because he had wind up.
Yeah.
But guess what? He got all ball, right? So his intent was to go for the ball. He got all ball. He hit
Pain.
Payne's face with his like arm, his elbow, right? But he didn't hit him with his hand, right? It was just like right here.
You know, sorry. You know what? I feel like that the ref called flagrant 2 because of the
Wind up?
frustration. Like because I
Yeah.
think he was complaining about the non-call, right? I saw the
Yeah.
I saw the replay,
Mhm.
and I think like the flagrant 2 wasn't even on the foul; it was just more on his reaction. You know, like I feel like it's like those patty called by the ref. You know, like I feel like the ref it's like what those people say about referee like calling a foul on a player because they kind of showed him up kind of thing. You know, like you know how all those scenario like all those like previous incidents where like players will show the referee up and kind of like you know say that, oh, I'm better than you kind of thing. And then I feel like that was like a makeup call for that. Like they feel like, oh, like Jokic was showing them up for like you know
No,
saying that there was a
I would
non-call.
I kind of disagree. I
Mhm.
know what you're trying to say, but I
Mhm.
think if I were to explain why they gave a flagrant 2
Mhm.
was that it was Jokic who kind of basically had a turnover, right? Like he
Mhm.
basically had a turnover, right? He was
Mhm.
frustrated with a
Mhm.
no call, right?
Yeah.
And then he went and then there was absolutely no need for him to just run over to Payne
Mhm.
and just slap the ball like that, right?
Yeah.
Like it was not really like it wasn't like Payne was dribbling into him or anything. Like he just
Mhm.
ran over and he
Yeah.
just slapped Payne, right?
But
Like
he didn't hit him.
he didn't hit him, right? Like he hit the ball, but in the way of hitting the ball, he clipped him on the face, right?
Yeah.
And
With not his hand though.
not
right?
his hand. No,
Yeah.
I understand. Like I think it's a really whack call, but I think what the refs were looking at was like, why are you not just like why did you have to run over to just slap him like that?
Well, okay. Flagrant 2 is wind up, intent, and follow through, right? So they
Yeah,
said, hey, he got all three.
yeah.
I'm
Well,
like,
he
come
kind
on.
of had like I don't think it was like intent, but he had an intent to just go and stop the
Slap the
play.
ball. Yeah,
Just
yeah, yeah.
just I think
Give
it
a
was
hard
to
foul.
stop the play. Yeah, to like
Yeah.
give a hard foul,
Give a hard
right?
foul. But
To
that
give a hard foul.
like
But
flagrant 1, I would have okay, I get it. But flagrant 2, I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
this is
and he's also the MVP of the league, which
yeah.
is like
And
ridiculous
that's what
because like you're not
everybody.
giving. Yeah,
Yeah.
And he doesn't
Everybody's
have a
saying that too.
history. He doesn't have
Yeah.
a history of this, right?
exactly.
He doesn't hurt. He doesn't. He's not malicious.
Yeah.
Like anybody like ever. So that was too quick. Like no
Yeah.
wonder. Yet you see like John Moran's tweet. He's like soft, right?
Yeah,
Even he's like soft.
everybody tweeted out and saying no way that's a flagrant 2. Like Trey Young tweeted like no way that's a flagrant 2.
Yeah.
Like a
Yeah.
bunch of people tweeted about it. I loved Jokic's reaction though with
he was-
Booker.
yeah, the
With
sports
Booker, because
fisher.
Booker, you know how Booker's always acting tough, right? He ran up there and he was trying to talk to Jokic, and you literally see Jokic like putting his face right to his face and was like, "What are you gonna do? Like,
Yeah.
what are you gonna
Yeah,
do?"
yeah, yeah.
And then you see Booker turn around, look at the refs, like, "Hey, come on, guys, look at what
Pull
he's
me
doing
back,
right
pull
now."
me back.
Yeah, he's like,
Where's my
"Look, guys,
teammates?
look at what he's doing. Come on, ref, like, tee this guy out, right?"
Yeah.
He turns around, starts complaining to the ref because he knows
Uh,
that like, yo, he's like, you can't mess with this 7 foot
Yeah.
guy from like, where's he
Just
from?
looked at him. Just
Yeah,
looked
like
at him,
some,
like, do
yeah,
something. Do something.
yeah.
yeah, like okay, like it just is. Yeah, for me it was just like because I wasn't watching the game, but then when I was looking at the box score, I'm like, what? How come Jokic is not playing? He's not injured. I'm like, and then I saw that he got ejected. I'm like, what the hell did he got rejected for? And then I saw the replay. I'm like, wow, are you serious? That's a flagrant 2. I'm like, because if anything, like a lot of times when you know those like in air fouls, right? Those are more dangerous than that slap there was, and I'm like, those are like usually just flagrant 1. So that's why for me, I was at that flagrant 2 was just unbelievable. I'm just like, how do you call like, and it was a close game, right? I remember, I think it was like a 7-point game.
Yeah.
When he got ejected, I'm just like, man, like you really ruined that series because now the narrative would be like, oh, like Jokic got ejected, and then Denver got swept.
I guess
No, I'm not saying that.
they saved him embarrassment. I guess, right?
I'm not trying to say that. Oh, like they might have won the game, but I mean, yeah, you just don't. You didn't even give them a fair chance to see what
it's a
happened.
BS.
Right?
It's such a
Yeah,
BS call.
yeah,
Like, this is the playoffs. Like, there has to be some sort of physicality
yeah,
and that emotional, you know,
yeah,
and there has to be that for the fans. Like,
yeah,
the fans are invested. That's why they watch.
yeah,
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this. I'm like, how come like the 80s and 90s, like everyone was so riled up? It's because they let them play. And when you
Mhm.
see like your team or your favorite player get hit hard, like you're now more emotionally invested because you want to see like your guy like go back and hit the other guy, right? And now they don't let any of that happen. It's just like,
Yeah.
hey, no emotions, just play the game.
Yeah.
So okay, this is really interesting because the Olympics are coming up. So FIBA still has the rule set for FIBA is more like the old school basketball NBA, right? In the 90s, in the early 2000s, where it's a lot more physical. So now we're gonna see these NBA players go in. I don't know, like they might go in and get bodied.
No.
Like you see,
No.
you see Luka Doncic. Everyone's like, oh, this guy's not athletic enough. But guess what? Like he could take a beating in the EuroLeague. He comes in and then he's like, yo, this is everyone's so soft. It's way easier to score here, right? He's got a
Well,
point.
well, the thing is, it really depends on who. It really depends on who's gonna go into the Team USA team
Yeah.
right now, right? Because if it's the younger players, I feel like they probably won't mind it. Because they're all kind of like, yo, like let's do this, right? We can play physical.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay,
I want
okay.
to say the opposite. Look at what
Let's
happened in
no,
the FIBA World Cup. They got
no,
Bodied.
okay.
tossed around.
All right.
You gotta have
Yeah.
You gotta have the bigger
They,
names in there. The
what,
bigger
what did
names
they
in there
finish
have
third? They finished third
yeah,
last
third.
tournament, right? See, they go in, they can't take the physicality of it.
No, they just didn't have chemistry. It was
Well,
just
the thing is,
whack. The
I
whole
don't
team
know.
was just whack.
I feel like we need to talk about. We need to just do an episode on
We'll
the
do it in
Team
the
USA
summertime.
team.
Yeah,
We
we'll do it in
will.
the
I would
summertime.
love to talk about that, but yeah, I would see. I would love to see like who will make it because I feel like a lot of the stars are not gonna go in because
It's too short of a turnaround.
LeBron's not gonna go in even though it's probably his last Olympic. Yeah, like I feel like it will be like the younger players that might get a chance to go.
If it's the younger team, they're gonna get bodied. Like they're absolutely gonna get bodied. Like who's a young big that you're gonna send over? Bam Adebayo.
He's pretty physical.
Yeah, but he's undersized, right? Think about those other teams.
Yeah, but at the same time, which okay, I mean, I don't follow the European games, but like
They
I
can
don't
whack
they're
you. They can hit you.
yeah, but their players are not experienced either. They're like the young like they're gonna be young players too there.
I disagree. I was watching the last tournament and they just got pushed around.
Alright, I'm steering topic back onto Denver.
Yeah, Denver.
Sorry.
Okay. Okay, let me ask a question. Let me ask
okay.
you guys a question. So you got Jokic just won MVP. He can now do his contract extension, I think next year for the maximum. Right? So next year his contract's 31, the year after is 33 million. Jamal's at 29 and 31. So now you have two decisions to make. Aaron Gordon next year is the last contract year, 16, and Will Barton. I think. Oh, let's see. Will Barton's got a player option this summer for 14.6. And then Michael Porter Jr. wants max money. Like, when you hear that, I'm like, yo, this guy's delusional. I'm not giving him max. Are you guys giving him 25 million? 26 million when he can't play any defense?
When is his contract over? Sorry.
Let's see.
He's on his rookie, right? He's on his rookie
so
contract.
he's got this coming up year at 5, and then he's got I think a qualifying offer the next year at 7. So he can extend. I think next year.
I think they give him one more year. They give him one more year to show that to at least give them a run. Depending on when Jamal Murray can come back, they are going to need to pay him. Right? Well, they're going to need to keep him on the team. until they see what Jamal Murray is like post injury.
Mike, would you do the same?
Well, yeah, why not? Right? Because Jamal
Right.
Murray's gotta be. He won't be back until. He probably won't be back right next season.
Yeah,
Uh,
he might take
Is
the
that
whole
right?
next season off or
oh,
until like
really?
late.
Yeah, he
It's
might
going to
he
be
might
at
be out
least
for
a
the whole
year.
season.
He tore it when? He tore it like in April.
Yeah,
Okay, so maybe he'll be back for the playoffs.
Yeah, he'll
yeah.
be back
If they
in for
make
the
the playoffs,
playoffs.
yeah.
So I agree with Alex. They probably need to. They like next season would be really important to see what Michael Porter Jr. can do.
I don't trust him.
Well, okay. I feel like okay. It really depends on what they plan to do, and but like Jamal Murray is the key. If Jamal Murray come back healthy, yeah, they might not need to give Michael Porter Jr. a max.
They
So,
can
but
trade
Michael
him.
Porter Jr. need to decide what kind of player he wants to be. Do he want to be a superstar? Then, if he want to be a superstar, then he need to get better on the defensive side, right, and be more consistent. But if he just wants the money and decide not to like get better defensively, then of course Denver probably won't pay him. They probably will give him like a qualify, and then some team is gonna throw some money out, and then Denver can decide whether they want to match it or not.
Yeah,
You know,
if I'm Denver, regardless of Jamal Murray, I'm gonna trade Michael Porter Jr.
like a sign and trade kind of thing.
Like I'm not. If he wants the max, there's no way. I'll give him half of that. I'll give him mid-level
Well,
exception.
we gotta see his development still, right? Like this guy is, I think it's still early, right? Like his rookie contract's not even over yet, right? Like,
Yeah, but if he's already talking, hey, I want 26. Like I'll give you. He's like, I'll give you a $2 million discount for the max. This guy's crazy. Like I'm trading him next season, right? Because okay, if you pay him, you got Jokic and Murray locked up. Can he be the number 3 guy on a championship team? And
maybe.
if not, like you're stuck. Now Denver's stuck forever.
Right. I think the ceiling is still very high for Michael Porter Jr.
Really? You're
Like,
so into him?
yo, he's like what 6'10", 6'11". The way he can just pull up and shoot and all that. If he plays like just average defense, I think that's a very valuable asset,
I
right?
don't even
On a
know.
team.
I don't think he could play average defense.
Well,
I don't.
hey,
Okay.
like
Hey,
if there's guys that can go from not playing defense at all to playing okay defense, I feel like he can be also one of them, right?
but if you give him the max, he'd be like, okay, I already got it. Why should I play defense?
Because you need to win a championship.
Okay. Another question. Last year's playoff, we saw them like unleash Bobo, right? This guy didn't get on the floor for a minute. He's a 7 foot
Not
guy
too sure why.
with a
I feel
skill
like
that he can shoot threes. Like what?
Not too sure.
I don't
Honestly.
know. Like I feel like he's a gimmicky player.
But he was
Like-
killing it. He was killing it in the bubble last year with
That
Michael
was-
Porter Jr.
But that was before. That was not in the playoffs. That was in the regular, like
Yeah,
the last
yeah.
8 games, right? And Denver was already a lock.
So you won't even give this guy a chance. You're playing.
Paul Millsap.
Paul Millsap is free agent next year. I mean he's a free agent, so
Yeah, he's
maybe
done.
maybe next year is Bobo.
Okay, so Paul Millsap's done. JaVale McGee's done.
Yeah.
Like,
Austin
I
Rivers is
would,
a free
yeah,
agent as well.
I wouldn't bring any of those guys back.
Okay. So, it, honestly, like the future looks kind of grim for me for Denver with the MVP. It doesn't. To me, it doesn't feel like they're on the up and coming anymore.
Well,
It's like they need to
it's
figure it
very
out.
hard when you're arguably your second best, or even your second best player. They gotta see an ending injury like that, right?
Yeah. Like they need to they need to rely on 2 people, like which is Jamal Murray's health and Michael Porter's development.
Yeah.
If one of them doesn't work out, then that team is kind of like, then it'll be like what Clark said. Their future looks really grim.
Yeah,
looks really grim.
They traded their future away for Aaron
Gordon.
and this guy like literally disappeared.
Like it goes back to like what he's there for. He's not there to be your 20 points a game guy. not your 18 points, 15 points a game guy. This guy's supposed to come in there, play a little bit of defense. I know he didn't play defense in this round, but he's supposed to play a little bit of defense. He's supposed to be doing cuts, right? Like running, like revolving around Jokic and being a great team player type of way, right?
Which,
I feel like if there was Jamal Murray, everything would be different. Like everything would be different. Like you're gonna we can be really down on Aaron Gordon, really down on Michael Porter Jr. But everything stems from the fact of losing Jamal Murray.
Yeah. No, I think that's the main thing.
Yeah, I guess we'll just have to see. Like I wouldn't suggest any big moves for Denver, but just waiting to see the things Mike talked about, like Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah. So they're kind of like in a stuck mode, right?
Yeah.
This off season.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So with that, I guess we're gonna wrap the pod up. Thank you guys. Thanks everybody for tuning in. And we'll see you guys next time.